5 Minutes with the Newsroom. I'm Dan Shearer, editor of the Green Valley News and the Sahuarita Sun, and I'm here with assistant editor and reporter Lillian Boyd, and she's been covering GVR since arriving in December. And every year about this time, we have the annual election. And give us a rundown, Lillian, on what we're facing.
Yeah, so the GVR board has an election every year. This year we have 4 open seats. There are 2 incumbents running and a total of 9 candidates.
So we have 9 candidates, and really these are divided into 2 camps. And then there's an odd man out in a sense. So 4 people are in one camp, 4 are in another. And let's just say it right now, we generally don't like to divide the candidates up into this. It's nonpartisan, non-sectarian, non-everything election. But the candidates themselves have chosen to align with certain groups. What are those groups?
Yes, so we have Friends of GVR and we have the GVR for Us / Members First factions.
Okay, so what's the difference between the two?
Okay, well, if you were to go to the website for each of these factions, you could honestly have a hard time picking out the difference. But it's really a difference of management style. You have the Friends of GVR, they're more about maintaining the integrity of the business, the corporation. And then you have the GVR for Us group, and they're more about transparency and gauging membership along every step of the way.
Right, and we don't want to suggest that one group doesn't care about the membership, because of course they do.
Right.
But if you had to really get down to the nitty-gritty, that's probably the biggest dividing line, is exactly how you are going to manage the organization.
Exactly.
Okay, so, but again, like you say, they're largely pretty much the same on both sides. So you have 4 open seats and you have 4 candidates for each side. And the last time this happened, where we had an odd man out person who was not affiliated with either, that person ended up dead last in the race. So at some level, these things are important to people.
Yes.
So what probably will be a factor in this election is a blow-up, frankly, that happened at a meeting in January. Can you tell us a little bit about it? What meeting was it and what happened?
Yes, so this was a bylaws subcommittee meeting. And we had an attendee who was a GVR member say something that was misinterpreted as an ethnic slur. And she wasn't, there were multiple people at the meeting misunderstood her as saying the slur, so it wasn't one person's fault, but there was a complaint as a result against Vice President Nina Campfield for her reaction to what she misunderstood, and a complaint filed against President Mike Zelenak for not intervening in the incident. Basically, the meeting carried on as if nothing had happened. There were no apologies issued, and that was really where the issue lied.
And we should point out that Mike Zelenak is up for re-election. Nina Campfield is not. So complaints were lodged against them. And then there was a third complaint lodged against Zelenak because GVR had hired a lawyer to come in and investigate all of this. And he went, without anybody knowing it, kind of behind everybody's backs in an attempt to contact the lawyer. He had a complaint lodged against him for that. But what happened with these complaints?
Basically, the lawyer recommended that there be some training, some etiquette training, some professional workshops, if you will. But ultimately, the board did not substantiate the complaints, so the complaints fell flat, honestly.
Okay, so if this is not your issue, and I know for a lot of people it will be, but this is not your issue, how should somebody decide who they're going to vote for in this election?
Okay, so we actually submitted a Q&A to each of the candidates. We provided a deadline, so we'll be getting those responses this Sunday.
Okay, so we will be putting those online and in print on February 20th, and actually we're going to put them online as soon as we get them.
Yes.
And what are some of the things that we ask people about?
Well, we submitted 10 questions, but some of those the major questions we asked candidates to weigh in on how they felt about CEO Scott Summers looking for employment elsewhere. He ended up applying for the town management position, didn't get it, so he will remain GVR CEO, but we want to know how our candidates feel about him wanting to leave GVR. We're also asking about how candidates feel about transparency. It's a common GVR practice to live stream the meetings, but those meetings are not made available afterward. Minutes are typically not made available until months at a time, and we want to know how candidates feel about that.
We're also going to be talking about the bylaws because they have some changes coming up there that they're going to be showing up on the ballot also.
Yes.
And so we'll have information on that. So the ballots go out the 18th, and members
February 18th, yes.
and members have, what, 3 or 4 weeks to vote on those. And then we have our Q&A, which will be in the paper on the 20th.
Yes.
And so, and it hits lots of different issues, and so people should be well informed enough to make a decision then.
Yes, we hope so.
Okay, so well, thank you for joining us for 5 minutes with the newsroom, and we'll see you next time.